Hello, we are back. Today we are in the bitchin' kitchen yet again, and I thought I would share with you what I'm doing today. So I'm going to be baking a few different things. They all have a very Italian theme, so it's pretty freaking interesting. First, I'm probably going to start with a lemon ricotta cake. And it's just a very light, mild cake. I feel like traditionally it's like an Easter moment, but we're making it because my mom didn't feel like buying pastries. And I'm usually a big cookie maker, but she wanted a cake, so I'm making a cake. And then I'm going to be making Italian knot cookies. I'm not sure if they have like a fancier name, but that's what we call them. And once they're done, you'll probably be able to recognize them. And then I'll be making focaccia bread, which this is my third attempt to make it. The first time I was extremely lax in the measuring, which with bread making isn't really a good mix. So it came out a little bit hard and tough, and that was a trial for Thanksgiving. The one I made on actual Thanksgiving Day was really good. Still a little bit tough. I think that's just like my oven's really strong, and maybe I just gotta play around with how long I have it in the oven. And then, yeah, that's it. And then tomorrow I'll be making like normal chip cookies, if you will. But I just got back from Kohl's because I had to get this springboard pan. And that was my first time in Kohl's, and let me tell you, it is my last time in Kohl's, because I placed the order yesterday and I set it for in-store pickup. So I go in today and I asked the little door greeter, I was like, hi, where do I go? And he instructed me where to go. So I go and I present this lady at the front desk like my barcode paper, like the receipt, my ID, the whole 9 yards, everything the email instructed me to do. And she glances me up and down, literally like this. What's your name? And I was like, Caroline, but the order might be under Rebecca, like that's my mother's name. And she was like, next time, have her add you as an additional pickup person. And I was like, hello? And I was just so taken aback. So I was like, I'm so sorry, like we had no idea. It's just my mom, like the billing address and like my address on my driver's license. Check out, like, can I please have my pan? And she was so adamant on like, next time we're not doing this. Like we have no way to tell that it's your mother, and this is a paid for item. And I was like, okay, I got it. Like, I'm really sorry. I apologize for the inconvenience, like, please. So whatever, she gets me the pan and she's still annoyed with me. So I was like, whatever, I'm a pretty monotone person. So I was like smiling under my mask, like, you'll sound happier. And I was like, thank you so much. Like, I hope you have a very happy and healthy holiday. Like, I'm really sorry for that. Like, it won't happen again. Like, thank you, have an amazing day. And she's just like, she didn't hiss at me, but it felt like she wanted to. So that was my Kohl's experience. And I was just so incredibly put off by that and just was not expecting that at all. Like, you would have thought I was at US Customs and Border Patrol. The way this woman was so angry with me. In that tone, I was just like, oh my goodness, lady. And I get that's like her protocol, whatever, like, whoop-de-doo. But it's not that big of a deal, lady. So, that's that. I'm gonna clean this pan and then we're gonna get baking. So we're going to be starting with the focaccia bread. And what you need is bread flour, yeast. The yeast that's sold in the packet, I think, yields the right amount. I think you need like 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast and almost an entire bag of bread flour. And that's where I went wrong my first time. Like, the bread flour was like basically almost completely empty, and I was just like, fuck it. So I put all of it in, but don't do that. And then you need like a pinch of sugar, a pinch of salt, like all that stuff to activate the yeast. Good olive oil, since it's essentially like olive oil bread. And then the garnish on top, like some flaky salt, rosemary, maybe some garlic, I don't know, whatever your heart desires. So that is what we are starting with. You're gonna start with 6 1/4 cup of bread flour, which I think is like about 30 ounces if you have a scale. And then 2 1/2 cups of room temp water. Get that beating, which I'll show you, and then we'll move on. All right, so I just poured in the room temperature water. I apologize for the volume. We have our ovens cleaning right now, and it's really loud, and it's also really hot in here. But besides the point, you want the dough to get like shaggy, and also like as you're mixing, this is going to happen. So you want to take one of these, just like rubber spatulas, and obviously scrape down the sides of the bowl. Make sure everything's incorporated, but the dough will look like shaggy and kind of not the prettiest. So check back in with you. All right, so I went ahead and added the 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast into 1/2 cup of warm water. Stirred it together with a fork, and then added a pinch of sugar. We're waiting on that to get foamy. It's been a few minutes. Here's what it looks like. It's getting there. And then once that's where we like it, we're gonna add it back into the dough. Get that mixing until it's about like a thick cake batter is what it should look like. And then once that's done, we're gonna transfer the dough out from the metal bowl that it's currently in. And we're gonna put it into a different bowl, preferably glass. I don't have that. But basically you wanna take 3 tablespoons of olive oil and like swirl it around, coat all the sides, etc. We're gonna let that sit in that bowl for 2 to 3 hours, wrap it in plastic wrap, and then mark it on the bowl so we can tell if it rose or not. And then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so we're going in with some olive oil. I'm using the Lucchini olive oil. You can find it like anywhere, I'm pretty sure. So 3 tablespoons into the bowl. And then this is gonna sit for like 2 to 3 hours, depending, oh my God, you can't even see me. Depending on how much I get done in the meantime. We'll probably get somewhere closer to 3 hours. So basically now you're just gonna like swirl it around and be very meticulous in this so the dough doesn't stick when we check on it in a few hours. So here's what we got. I covered it in plastic wrap and just put that little line where the dough is. We're gonna check back in about 2 to 3 hours and then move on. My mom decided to come in and talk to me during a good portion of the rest of the video, so we're moving on to voiceovers. So I already went in and beated 1.5 cups of sugar and 1.5 cups of butter. Now I'm going in with an entire container of ricotta cheese.
Ricotta. This is so good. It's my favorite. Why is this one all curly looking?
And I'm gonna beat that for 4 to 5 minutes until it's smooth and fluffy. In the meantime, you can use some powdered sugar and cover up the sides and the bottom of the pan so nothing sticks. And then this is what it should be looking like. Then you're gonna add in 3 eggs, 1 at a time. You know the deal, we've done this before. And then you're gonna add in a juice of an entire lemon and a teaspoon of vanilla until it's looking like this. Using that same lemon, you're gonna wanna grate the entire thing. I'm using a microplane, and just make sure you're not getting any rind in there because that's disgusting. Nobody wants to eat that. So I went ahead and added in baking soda, salt, and 1.5 cups of flour. I thought I got a clip of me pouring the batter into the pan, but evidently I did not. So here's what we got. and we're gonna put that in the oven at 350 for like 45 to 55 minutes. For our next portion of this ASMR half-seas video, we are making the Italian knot cookies, and I explain it after this clip, but that's what we're starting. Okay, so we have 3/4 of a cup of melted butter and 3/4 of a cup of white sugar in right now with 3 eggs, and now I'm just gonna add a tablespoon of vanilla and then get that beating for the knot cookie dough. So I went ahead and switched from the paddle attachment to the dough hook. We're gonna be going in with 4 cups of flour and then 6 teaspoons of baking powder, I think. Baking powder, yeah. So I used to do this with a handheld mixer, and it's definitely doable, but dough used to fly around everywhere and it was really chaotic, and I used to hate it every single year. So I'm hoping that this is better for my mental health. So bad news, my mom came in and asked me a question as I was counting my teaspoons, and I'm not sure if I put in 5 or 6. We need 6. Hopefully I did. I really can't remember. I don't know what to do though. So, YOLO, here's how we're going. That should be good. I'm not in focus. Anyways, I added a pinch of salt in a 1/4 cup of warm water. We're gonna knead it once more, and then we should be ready to assemble. In the meantime, this is done. So let's see if it's ready to be taken out. I put it in for 45 minutes. It goes anywhere, come on, from 45 to 55. Again, my oven's pretty strong. It's a little wet, so I'll give it like 3 more minutes. So we want the knot cookie dough to be smooth, like I'll press down on it, nothing comes off. So that is a good sign. Okay, so here's the fun part. I actually kind of despise this part, but that's okay. We're gonna take like 1 to 1.5 inch balls, roll the dough, and then just like roll it out, snake it like it's Play-Doh. And then what I do is I just kind of like knot it like that. I get like really lazy, and halfway through I just make golf balls, I'll be honest, but it's fun to take the time and do this. I feel like it could be fun if you had some help, maybe. It could be like a good, let's chat, drink some wine, roll out some cookies, pretend we're at Annie's Pretzels, and yeah, so I'm gonna do that. And then once they're baking, you make the icing when they're cool, which is just powdered sugar, water till your consistency is like good, and then anise, which is like a vanilla extract type moment, but some people don't like the taste of it. That's kind of the whole kicker of these cookies. It's like sexier licorice, honestly. I like it, and I hate licorice, so don't be opposed to it. Another common thing to put in is like lemon. I actually added in like zest of another lemon into this one just cause I like the way that tastes. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep rolling these and assembling. So here they are out of the oven. I always make the first batch like really big for no reason. I just put the other ones in, they're much smaller and cuter. So it's been 15-ish minutes. I'm gonna remove this from the pan, put it on the drying rack, and then I'll dress it with the powdered sugar in a sec. And we're back to the bread. So you're gonna take it out of the bowl, put it onto the oiled sheet pan, fold the dough over itself a couple of times, and then stretch it. It's not gonna be fully ready because it's not completely relaxed. So it's not fully relaxed, but basically what I did was I stretched out the dough. I'm gonna let it sit some more because you want it like from corner to corner. It's not really staying in place, so I'm gonna let it rest some more, and then once that's done, I'm gonna set it in the fridge anywhere from 8 to 24 hours. All right, here's what the dough for the bread looks like. We're gonna put that in the refrigerator now. And then for the icing, you need 2 cups of powdered sugar. To add to the drama, the audio on this clip cut out, and this is also being filmed on my phone, but I'm just saying how to make the icing. I've said it about 5 times now. But then you go in with these small circle sprinkles, not these kind of sprinkles, very important. We're not making sprinkle cookies from ShopRite, all right?
She brought me sprinkle cookies. I threw them in the garbage. You know what my favorite cookies are? Pinoli cookies.
This is what it looks like. It's kind of foul, but get your mind out of the gutter, John B. Finally, it's time to ice these damn cookies. So you just take a cookie, dunk it right into the icing, make it have a little swim, let the excess drip off, and place it right back onto the tray. You're gonna do that for all of the cookies, obviously. But then with the sprinkles, you're just gonna give them a light little dusting, a early morning flurry, if you will. Nothing crazy, don't overdo it. And, oh, look, there they are. They're so cute, aren't they? And back to the bread. I am Hulk smashing the garlic to remove the peel, and then I'm using a fork with the mandolin to shave the garlic because I am a delicate flower, and this will be our topping for the bread. Just have that rosemary and the garlic. I added it with some olive oil, and then this is what the dough is looking like. It was in the refrigerator, and then I took it out and let it rest for about 45 minutes to get room temp. And I'm just going in with some olive oil and some greasy hands, taking my little pinchers, and we are dimpling the focaccia dough. And this will make it really bubbly and have some air pockets and make it light and airy. So then once that's done, you'll have all these little pockets of flavor for the topping. And then rub it in, evenly distribute it, do as you will. And then just go in with some flaky salt. And then you are going to pop it in the oven for 25 minutes at 450. So you're going to take a fish spatula and remove the bread from the pan. And it shouldn't leave any residue or anything on the pan. The pan should be clean. I had to speed it up because it took me an embarrassingly long time to make that happen. But once it's out, you're going to put it onto a cooling sheet or a baking rack and let it lay down for a second. There's the top and then the clean baking sheet. I think it's easiest to go in and cut it with scissors, and then there you have it. There's your bread.